welcome to this edition of Bearcats Unlimited. I'm your host, Chase Younts. I got Ethan Herzog alongside me and Aidan Riggs. Gentlemen, how are we doing this evening?
Fantastic.
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
We're ready to talk some sports on this show. And again, the football team is the hottest commodity on campus. And they won 49-17 over Oklahoma State in Stillwater on Saturday. Those boys were balling, and that offense was rolling. Ethan, what were your thoughts on that game?
I mean, the offense alone was probably one of the most outstanding things of this game. And it was mainly looking at Brendan Sorsby, who I feel like we talked about a lot in the last episode. But Brendan Sorsby, 4 total touchdowns, 3 through the air, 1 on the ground. And he had 270 yards, 20 of 29 passing. Is one of the top quarterbacks in the league in all of college football right now. And it's really, really hard to stop this man.
I mean, this offense as a whole is really hard to stop in general. I mean, this team is perfect from the red zone this year. They're 28 for 28, one of just 6 teams right now in the entire NCAA that's in the top 90% of that. It's truly impressive what they've done all over the place, and they've really relied on that explosive play so far this year, averaging 7.7 yards a play. Really impressive stuff from the boys.
Should I bring Heisman talk in for Brandon Sorsby? Again, you're looking at 17 touchdown passes on the season, 6 rushing touchdowns, so nearly 25 total touchdowns on the season, with just 1 interception to his name. I mean, this is incredible stuff, Ethan.
I mean, 1 interception alone, and it was the 1 interception back against Nebraska, if I'm not mistaken, that he threw. Since then, it's been 6 games. Perfect, I don't want to say perfect passer rating, but pretty close to a perfect passer rating. And it also can't be understated without the offensive line. Only 2 sacks allowed this season in front of that offensive line for Brendan Sorsby, which allows him to create that momentum to get himself in a position to create those moments.
When you bring up that Heisman talk as well, one of the things we need to bring up is this entire season throughout the NCAA, there's not many quarterbacks that are really differentiating themselves from the entire pack like you've seen in past years. Guys like Joe Burrow, even Baker Mayfield having those truly remarkable seasons. There's not many guys out there that are doing that this year. The door's open for Brendan Sorsby. If he continues this down the road with the schedule the Bearcats have, he could be in those talks come December.
And I think a big thing we're looking at with Sorsby and his yards per attempt. He's averaging nearly 10 yards per throw, pushing it down the field. These big play guys in Caleb Goody and Jeff Caldwell and a bunch of other receivers, Isaiah Johnson, Noah Jennings, those guys have all stepped up. Cyrus Allen. We cannot go without talking about the Cincinnati Bearcats without talking about Cyrus Allen. A triple crown of touchdowns, a hat trick if you would, 3 touchdowns on Saturday night, Ethan.
No, yeah, and I mean, it all goes to show, and you look at, too, how this Bearcat team is doing just overall is, you know, we're back in the top 25 for the first time since 2022. We're back up to 21. This is the highest it's been in 3 years, and it's impressive to watch.
Yeah, and then you look at this, 3 out of 4 conference games, the offense has gone over 400 yards this season. And just looking at the month of October so far, Aidan, I mean, it's just been all winning for the Bearcats.
It all started with that win against Iowa State. That was when you felt like this team truly had it. They had figured out what they wanted to do, and they showed it against a ranked opponent. They stormed the field. It was chaos in Clifton. And then, of course, joined the AP Top 25 in back-to-back weeks now, first time since 2022. Wins against your rival in UCF, on the road at Oklahoma State. Still perfect at Nippert Stadium, and undefeated in Big 12 play. Right now, if the season ended right now, they'd be in Arlington, Texas come late November.
I mean, they're 4-0 in Big 12 play. They got a big one, a homecoming game at that, to play against Baylor. I mean, what are we looking at for this game? 4 p.m. on ESPN2. The Bearcats trying to advance to 5-0 in Big 12 play.
I mean, it's pretty much prime time when you look at it for the Bearcats. And it's a Baylor team that they've only played once before. And when they played them, it was a 29-32 loss back in 2023. And I think this is going to be one of the bigger tests for Cincinnati, other than Iowa State, at home until they meet someone like BYU, who is currently ranked in the top 25. And with that coming up, it's a possibility that we could see a rematch of some of those teams back in Arlington.
And then looking at this, Aidan, the run game, Tommy Walker, Evan Pryor, the big play hitters, they're always going to be a challenge for an opposing team, and that's the look for Saturday. I mean, this Bearcats offense needs those too.
And I brought up explosiveness earlier. This is a game of one team that relies on the explosive play, another one that's searching for it right now. UC has relied on it the entire year. Baylor only has 2 rushes in the double digits so far this entire season. The explosive play has not been there for the Baylor Bears this year. UC's relied on it. Hope you like points, though. Both of these teams are averaging more than 30 a game. Over-under right now is 68.5. It's going to be a high-scoring affair at Nippert Stadium.
A homecoming Saturday, going to be a great one, and we're going to take a breather here. We're going to look at esports. Ethan will talk one-on-one with Camilo Chaves-Galeano on the other side of the break.
A third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
We said we'd never give in to a meltdown.
Mariella!
Never leave the house looking, well, and never let them out of our sight. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock.
I tell my son, I love you every single day. I love you. Now, my dad has never said that to me. Not because he doesn't love me, but because culturally it wasn't comfortable for him. Now that he's a grandfather, he says, I love you to my son every time he sees him. My advice to all the fathers out there, forget the cultural restrictions. They grow up way too fast for you to waste even a single precious moment.
Did you hear?
Todd's in the hospital.
Who's Todd?
He got a collapsed lung from vaping.
He thought it was cool.
Not cool.
Promise you won't vape, Emma. It can lead to a lifelong addiction, and we can't be friends if your lungs collapse.
Bogus.
Wacky sitcom teens aren't the best people to talk to your kid about vaping.
Hey, you got a minute?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Welcome back to Bearcats Unlimited, friends. Ethan Herzog here with you, and I'm joined alongside the president of UC Esports, Camilo Chaves-Galeano. Camilo, great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me here.
Now, I brought you here for one purpose, and one purpose only, and it is to talk about esports and that of the Queen City Clash that is coming up on Saturday and Sunday, the 24th and 25th of this week. What is this tournament that we're looking at?
Well, the Queen City Clash is the University of Cincinnati Esports Club's premier intercollegiate tournament. It was created in 2023 with the purpose of just offering a competitive, a fun, a quality, but most of all affordable LAN experience. That is LAN standing for Local Access Network, meaning in-person competition for clubs and programs of all shapes and sizes and levels of investment. We've had 10 so far. This upcoming one for Overwatch coming this weekend will be the 11th edition, and I'm pretty excited for it. We got teams coming from all around the country, from conference rivals like your UCFs to, backyard rivals like your Miamis, to we even got some Canadian teams coming over, so it's going to be a brawl.
And some of these Canadian teams, too, as we look at the tournament field, one spot still unclaimed at the moment, but we look at this, St. Clair College comes to mind, University of Toronto, and these are some teams that have some international talent and former Overwatch League players on them coming to Cincinnati.
Yes, that is correct.
And I mean, that's awesome. That the exposure that's going to bring to the Queen City alone, and looking at it too, we have our first presenting partner. This is the Queen City Clash presented by NordVPN. What does that kind of mean for the club being able to provide that kind of experience and exposure with a partnership?
Well, that kind of partnership, we're still kind of testing the waters, of course. We've just been operating in a massive gray area as a club, which serves to our benefit, but of course has its downsides, as any pros and cons as this being a student-led program is. So, we're hoping it's a step in the right direction, and we hope we can potentially collaborate with more partners in the future.
And now you say this is affordable and all that stuff. What's the prize? We get to the number one spot. We win the entire Queen City Clash. What are we winning at the end of the weekend?
I think in terms of percentages, I'd say either 50% of the pot or either 60% of the pot. I know prize pool so far right now is over $1,000, so not too shabby at all. Not chump change for any means.
Definitely not. And that would just be split among the entire organization, correct?
Yes, that would be split between, however the players that want to claim the prize want to split it amongst themselves. But yes, they believe we're allocating prizes for first, second, and third.
And now we have our own team did qualify. They were the 11th qualifier at the end of the Swiss rounds for the Queen City Clash. How are they faring? As we're going to turn into the homers here for a minute. How are they going to fare? How do we think we'll fare in this Queen City Clash?
I mean, speaking honestly, they haven't been looking as hot as they were last semester. It's been constant. It's been constant 1-2 losses. But playing in person, playing in that in-person environment, seeing your opponent, it changes a lot of people. This past weekend, I was up at Ohio State with our Valorant and Rocket League teams. Our Valorant team filled with freshmen who had never really been in that kind of scenario. I mean, they came out guns blazing. They were yelling, they were screaming. It bonded them closer together, and via that, they got some pretty good scalps. It was the first time Cincinnati beat Akron in Valorant, so the in-person environment definitely provides for some magic. Cincinnati Overwatch, this is the third Queen City Clash for Overwatch, and Cincinnati won the previous two. So obviously in our house, there's a history of magic, so I can only really hope for the best.
And now we go into this weekend, and we're obviously we can't be at the LAN in person. How can we watch this? Where can we see the action unfold this weekend?
Well, you'll be able to see all kinds of score updates, announcements, and all of that via our Twitter at UC Esports Club. And of course, you can watch all the action live on our Twitch, which is, I believe, also UC Esports Club on Twitch.
Awesome. Now, Camilo, I think that's all the time that we have for this segment. Pleasure, as always, to have you on the show, and best of luck this weekend.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
And one final time, Cincinnati Esports. You can catch that all on Twitch, and you can see everything and catch me as the play-by-play announcer this weekend. And don't go anywhere. We're going to talk about men's basketball. They took down Michigan this past weekend. See you after the break.
You're not gonna get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff.
Mama!
Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. For decades, I've taught you everything I know. How to safely build a fire, and how to control the flames. But I can only teach wildfire prevention. Only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome back to BEARCATS Unlimited, and we're going to talk some men's basketball right now. They had an exhibition game against Michigan where they won 100-98 on Friday, and our own Ethan Herzog was there. He made the trip up to I-75. How'd that go?
Honestly, it wasn't that bad. The traffic wasn't bad. The drive itself, not bad at all. The people in Michigan are actually very nice. They were very accommodating.
Really?
The sports staff was really nice. I met the play-by-play and color announcers up at Michigan as well for the radio. Great time, great time.
What did we see from this game? There's a lot of scoring. What do we like?
a lot of scoring. And first off, we preface exhibition game. Exhibition game doesn't mean anything in terms of standings, doesn't mean anything in terms of any of that. But I said this on the broadcast for BEARCATS Sports Radio, was that it's a confidence booster for this team. To go into Ann Arbor against a very talented Wolverines team that won the Big Ten tournament last year, made a trip to the Sweet 16, to go in and drop 100 points and have 6 different players in double-figure scoring is incredible for such a game like that. And one of the few things that I got to clean up here, 33 team fouls. They had 33 team fouls, 1 technical foul assessed to Shanabayev, and 1 foul out as well. It was a lot.
Well, rightfully so. Shanabayev did have a tomahawk dunk. We'll talk about him in a moment.
yeah.
But again, I mean, this team shot 55% from the field, 39% from 3. Wes Miller said this team's not ready to play basketball, but they did end up beating the number 7 team in the nation in an exhibition game. Aidan, how much weight are we really taking to that?
Well, I mean, we've said it already. It's an exhibition game. It really doesn't count for anything. But Wes Miller all week was talking about how this is a chance for the team to improve. He scheduled 2 tough road exhibition games, so they'd go into an environment they weren't necessarily comfortable in, and they could make sure they were ready for whenever they go into Big 12 play, and they're ready for it. And they showed it today.
And I mean, you look at the next exhibition up, it's Fayetteville, it's Arkansas. That's a big, big, big SEC road test, exhibition or not.
Yeah, and Aidan, you as a Kentucky supporter at times, I mean, what are we looking at with this Calipari team in the early portions against Cincinnati?
It's going to be the same thing we've seen in the past. It's a bunch of guys that are brand new trying to mesh together. What you're going to see today, or coming up against Arkansas, is not going to be the same from what you're going to see from Arkansas in December. This team is trying to mesh together. They got guys from all over the place. Some guys are trying to go 1 year in the NCAA and then trying to go to the NBA. They're trying to figure out what they're going to do, just like what the Bearcats are doing. What we've heard from Wes Miller, it's the exact same story.
Well, I'll tell you this, the Bearcats have a stud in Shanabayev who might be doing the exact same thing with a one-and-done type of look. This guy is unbelievable. Shanabayev, a 5-star recruit, had 15 points, shot 50% from the field and 50% from 3, had a nasty tomahawk dunk, had some step-back threes. Ethan, you saw that thing in person. The smile on your face right now is showing what's going on. I got to take a deep breath, but what were your thoughts from seeing the freshman Shanabayev?
Man, he's incredible. As advertised, absolutely as advertised. The first, one of the few All-Americans that Cincinnati has had, McDonald's All-Americans, I should say. That tomahawk, dude, was wicked. I remember calling that game. He went up, put that guy on a poster, and got teched immediately after it. He got teched immediately after it, but he was in his face. And he was like, oh, I'm like, yeah, so that makes sense. But absolutely as advertised. He shoots lights out. He has great ball handling ability, and he has the ability to just create plays, which in this lineup, and I'm going to turn the gears a little bit and look at Kirk Rissa, who shot 4 of 9 from 3. And that was something that kind of hurt the Bearcats a little bit last year, was the shooting from 3. And we have that ability to shoot from distance with Shanabayev, Kirk Rissa, and a host of other Bearcats that kind of are able to create those plays, especially from downtown.
Shooting behind the arc is a big thing for Cincinnati, and also playmaking. We didn't really have a whole lot of playmakers on this roster last year. Obviously, Jizzle James being a guy that would try to create and get to the basket, but no longer here. Aidan, they were down a couple of their top players on Friday night.
And it wasn't just Cincy, it was also Michigan. Both the teams were missing 2 of their top guys, and of course one of the big guys is Jalen Haynes. He was out for Cincy, and Shanabayev is the guy you're hoping is going to fill in for him right now. You also got guys like Tyler McKinley, who you know are going to have to step up. Even Halvin Zella, he didn't get a lot of playing time last year. The Frenchman that came over is trying to still learn English, we've learned, but we're hoping that he can fill that void.
And both of those guys too, especially Halvin Zella, I was very impressed with him on Friday night. He played amazing in that spot, filling in that role at the big. I mean, and that's a great thing too to have, is depth at the 5, which I feel like Cincinnati had a little bit of last season, but not a whole lot. And there's a lot of chances there for Cincinnati to have the ability to play at the 5.
Yes, I mean, you look at it, the basketball team is going to be interesting to see. The season starts in just 2 weeks from now against Western Carolina on November 3rd. We're going to go to a break here, and we're going to look at the baseball schedule. They made the NCAA tournament last year for the first time since 2019, and we'll see what they have on the docket coming up for 2026. We'll be right back.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Everyone deserves to live a full life. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut, the one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink, or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking, now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed, better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead, catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Life's daily battles are not meant to be fought alone.
We're not powerless, so long as we don't lose sight of what's important.
Don't be afraid to seize that moment to talk to your friends.
Cloud, you okay?
Because checking in on a friend can create a safe space.
The first step on our new journey. You coming?
Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Seize the awkward. It's totally worth it.
Hot off the press, we've got ourselves a new schedule for baseball. Looking at the home opener for the Bearcats, they play on February 24th against BGSU, a game that got snowed out last year, and then they play Alabama, Jacksonville State, and Auburn. I mean, this baseball season, you're looking at them, they've got a lot of tough teams on their schedule. Aidan, what are some things that stand out to you?
I mean, this schedule feels different. This feels like the next step in this Bearcats program. You got a big name like Auburn coming from the SEC that was in the NCAA tournament last year for a midweek game. When you're on that road stretch down in Alabama, they're going to play Jacksonville State along with UAB while they're down there as well. And also coming home, you got some of these Big 12 teams coming in. 3 of their Big 12 series are going to be against teams that were in that tournament last year. This is a chance for the Bearcat team to prove they weren't just a one-hit wonder. They're here to stay in the Big 12.
I mean, we see that too with how Jordan Bishop got extended. He signed that contract extension, and that means that Cincinnati's buying into the Bishop ball, if you will. I mean, obviously that's kind of associated with how the bunts work, but Bishop ball as a whole is being heavily invested in Cincinnati, and it's clear with the contract extension that we saw after he made the Big 12 tournament, yes, but also the NCAA tournament.
First time since 2019 this team made the NCAA tournament. And again, Bishop ball. I mean, what is Bishop ball for the ones that don't know?
So Bishop ball is playing the small ball. And if you don't know what playing the small ball is, it's a lot of bunts. It's a lot of being active on the base paths. And we saw a lot of that with Jordan Bishop and the Bearcats last season. And it was a lot of things that won them games. There were walk-off bunts that happened. And you don't see that in the major leagues at all. Well, I won't say at all, but you see it very few and far between, and it's something that Jordan Bishop had even at CMU. It's just this ability to create plays off the small ball, and he makes it work. And it's clearly working because they have back-to-back 30-plus win seasons.
Yeah, I mean, last season, that's the big thing for Cincinnati. They had 30-plus wins in his first year, and then the second year they got over the hump and made it to the NCAA tournament. Aidan, I mean, we were around the ballpark a lot this past year. What did you see from that team?
There's an energy around the ballpark here in Cincinnati. I think the most impressive part about Jordan Bishop is that small ball aspect. It's kind of a lost art in the game of baseball nowadays. One of the most impressive parts that I've seen about Jordan Bishop is how he gets the guys to kind of get into it and just truly be involved with the small ball idea. A lot of guys coming up through the systems nowadays would not be really happy with going up to the plate and just laying down a bunt to advance the runner. This team is bought in to that idea. They're going to leave everything they've got in the field, and they've shown it in these Big 12 games. That bench and that dugout was as hype as they could be. They were loud and active the entire game. It's really impressive how he's been such a leader in this team.
And it's also not to say, too, that Jordan Bishop only plays the small ball. one of the memories that I remember very vividly was the Charlie Niehaus grand slam against Miami. So let's not say that, oh, Jordan Bischel can't do the long ball. He can do the long ball. You can see those home runs. The home run metrics aren't maybe as good as maybe, say, 2022 Bearcats, but they're there. The velocity is there. The distance is there. And, I mean, the pitching as well. We saw a lot of good pitchers, and some of them were even out with Tommy John. So we didn't even get to see all of the starting pitchers last season. So we're going to see a lot of improvement in the bullpens as well as hitting.
You talk about the distance, though. You talk about two guys that are able to take it out of the park and two guys that are able to take it to the majors. Carrington Cross and Landon Vitterick. Those guys were two pivotal parts on this Bearcats team. And, you know, looking at Carrington Cross going to the Padres, Vitterick to the Dodgers, what did they mean to this Bearcats team?
I think there's a question of who's going to replace those guys. Carrington Cross was a leader for this team and was a very, very impressive player. He reminded me a lot of Joey Votto. He was a very incredible player, a very strong bat, very good on the base pass, and very, very patient. And I think that's going to be a big thing that we're going to be looking at for Cincinnati coming into the season.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same story as we've had with some other teams here at UC, is who's going to step up this year with everyone else gone. It's one of the highest ranked recruiting classes in the history of the Cincinnati program. And it was really strong gains in the portal. You also got 3 all Big 12 returners this year. Nathan Taylor on the mound, Jack Natilli back behind the plate, and Christian Mitchell, of course, being the dual threat, the Shohei Ohtani type player on this team. He's going to try and keep making that impact for this Bearcat team.
Bearcats are looking for something big in year number 3, trying to extend it to 3 straight 30-plus win seasons. Coming up after this break, we will talk to Alex Perez of the UC ice hockey team and get to know a little bit more about them. We'll be right back.
Dear moms and dads, what you have achieved here today is going to help us and our futures. It is why we are coming up on stage to collect your diplomas.
You know it's true.
Mom, love you always.
Everything I do.
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you.
There is a road laid out for me.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Leading down to the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
What do you think?
I know this road is there for me. If I'm really free, take me down to the river and walk. Where did the time go? I don't know how I got here.
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
There are a lot of temptations facing young people today, like electronic cigarettes and skateboarding. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes. This can lead today's youth to a lifelong addiction and severe lung damage. Recall and consider the facts before making a poor decision.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Welcome back, everyone, here to Bearcats Unlimited. I'm Aidan Riggs, joined alongside Alex Perez, the president of the Ice Hockey Club. Alex, welcome into the show.
Dude, thank you for having me. I appreciate Ethan gave me a text and he wanted me on the show, and I was like, heck yeah, I might as well do it. So I'm glad to be on here with all you boys.
Now, it's a big year for the hockey team, of course, transitioning from Division II of the ACHA to Division I. It's gone pretty smoothly so far, a lot of wins on the schedule so far. Have you thought about the season?
I think we've done really well. Like, we have played so well. A lot of teams have underestimated us coming in. Last year, I should say 2 years ago, we didn't look that good. And then last year, we definitely made some improvements. But now we're in the nick of things. We're, in mid-swing of the season. Teams still underestimate us. And, I kind of hope they keep doing that throughout the rest of the season because we'll probably see them at Nationals.
Now, you guys just came off a big road sweep on the road down in Alabama. That's a team that's been D1 for a while, and you guys really proved yourself down there. What do you think about that series?
Yeah, no, I thought we played good. I mean, you know, it was kind of a rough week of practice. A couple of guys were sick, and you know, an 8-hour bus ride, getting right off of it and getting into the game, it's, you know, not always ideal. But the fact that we were able to do that and shut them out, you know, just kind of shows you, you know, how good of a team we are. You know, able to get the bus legs off of you and, you know, go out there and pitch a shutout. You know, in the next game, you know they're going to come out flying and just shut them down and win again 4-2. I think, you know, that kind of shows the resilience of this team and you know, also the improvements that we still have to make. You know, being a good team, you know, you always look to make the better play and the better moves. So, you know, it just gave us more confidence for the rest of the season.
Defense was the story of that Alabama series, only allowing 2 goals and had that shutout, as you mentioned. But offense has been the story to start the season. You're averaging about 6.5 goals per game, multiple double-digit performances. How has the offensive spark really been there for the Cats?
Yeah, I mean, definitely a lot of the recruits that we've brought in, they have a lot of hockey IQ, like high hockey IQ. Brayson Bennett, C.J. Davidson, Connor Lambert, to name a few. I mean, all these guys that, you know, our head coach Chris Crane has brought in, they just, you know, they know how to score. They know how to get the puck in the back of the net. And I think, too, what also I really love about it is, you know, Crane, he preaches us to keep the game simple. And if you keep the game simple, you know, you're going to find ways. You're going to have to, you know, find a way to get that puck in, you know, if you keep it simple. It comes easier, you know, don't try to do too much, don't try to force plays, and that's what we do. And, you know, guys just been able to find the back of the net, and, you know, it feels like a full team in there. You know, everybody's brought in, so I've really enjoyed the season so far, especially with the new recruits coming in.
We stay on the topic of offense. 2 of your top 3 leading scorers are captains on this team, and Bauman and Sonderhaus, but the leading scorer is a freshman. You mentioned him earlier, Lambert. How much of an impact has he had, and how has that leadership that's playing in front of him made a difference so far?
Yeah, definitely. Lambert, I mean, he came from the NCDC Juniors Tier 2, and, you know, he played pretty well there. He actually played with one of my former teammates a couple of years ago, Reese Brednick, who he plays at NCAA Division III right now. But, you know, Lambert, he's got so much skill, and he's got so much poise with the puck. It's so hard to knock him off. I mean, guys try to, you know, run at him. I mean, even in Alabama, this kid tried to run on him, and Lambert, you know, that threw him to the ground. I mean, I thought the kid was hurt. It looked bad. He went flying into the boards. But, you know, and with the leadership of Sonderhaus and Bauman, like those two, they play on the same line. And, you know, I wasn't playing against Mercyhurst, but I was in the broadcast booth with Ethan Herzog, funny enough. And I was just saying how their chemistry, Bauman, Sonderhaus, and Brayson Bennett, they all play together on a line, and their chemistry is just unmatched. They just all have that high hockey IQ and have that sense of where those guys are going to be on the ice. So, you know, those are guys, too, that just lead by example. You know, Sonderhaus doesn't have to say too much in the locker room to get us going. You know, he just goes out there and plays the way the coach wants us to play. And same with Bauman. I mean, he's a little bit more vocal in the locker room. You know, he tries to get everybody together. But, you know, you have that cool dynamic between those two. You know, Sonderhaus, he leads by example, and Bauman leads by both example and vocally. So it's just nice, you know, it bleeds into the rest of the team, and, you know, especially when you're winning, you have the most fun. So it's really been a great season so far.
We'll take a quick look up at your upcoming schedule here, and you know the big matchup that you look forward to every single year is that midnight game at the University of Kentucky. Also some games on the road at Michigan Flint. What are you seeing in these upcoming games?
Yeah, I know Michigan Flint. You know, they aren't a team that's necessarily the best. So, but we still have to go in there and take care of business. But, you know, that Kentucky Midnight Madness game, you know, for, you know, those who don't know, I mean, you literally play at midnight. You know, could you imagine a Bearcat, you know, Big 12 basketball game at midnight against Houston? I mean, that place would probably be rocking if we actually did that. But, you know, it's a cool experience. It's definitely something that's mentally hard to kind of get used to. I mean, you know, in the past couple of years when we went there, I stayed up till probably 5, 6 a.m. the morning before just to try and get your body ready. So, but, you know, once you're in there, I know you were there, you know, was it last year or a couple of years ago? Yeah, so it's a fun environment to be in. I mean, you got, you know, 1,000 kids, you know, just chirping you and giving it to you, you know, and you just kind of have to play through it. But, you know, that's what makes the game fun. And, you know, last year, Kentucky, we lost to them in their arena in Lexington, but then the next day we came back and beat them 3-2, and, you know, it kind of shocked everybody at the D2 level. So to have them come to the D1 level, I think it's going to make that rivalry a little bit more intense.
I am very much looking forward to that game. I'm also looking forward to be the only guy in red in that entire section there in Lexington. Alex, thank you so much for coming on today. For my fellow hosts, Ethan Herzog and Chase Younts, my name is Aidan Riggs. We thank you for watching.